Hello, class. Wanted to introduce this learning module having to do with ethics. We have two ethics cases. You're going to each be put in a group, and that will depend on which group you are in, group 1 or 2. You'll be able to use either one of these two discussion boards that you see here in this module. You will not be able to post in the other one. So as you're assigned to the group, which I've done, you'll be able to post in one of these two. And I'll post the groups as well so that you can see your group members. But group number 1 is going to do this ethics and insider trading case, and group number 2 is going to do the ethics and impairment case. For both of them, you're going to produce a oral presentation that is going to be videoed and put in this video assignment, or if we run into technical difficulties, we'll use the Dropbox that you're more familiar with. But hopefully we'll be able to upload videos into the ethics case, and I'll be able to watch them there and grade them as such. That will allow you to take multiple people's videos and stitch them together into one video, which is the goal here, is to take each person's presentation and make it one presentation. So just to give you an idea of what these entail, if you look at the documents with regard to the particular situations or cases, there's some reading in each case, and then there will be some questions, or in this case requirements. Now you want to make sure in your presentation that you address each one of the requirements. If there are any of them that you feel are not applicable, that will need to be explained. Now this particular case, the most of the research and information you need is in the exhibits, but you have 6 requirements here, each of which should be referred to and addressed. Now I don't want you to read the requirement, but rather refer to it so I know which you are answering. So you might say something like, for requirement number 1, you won't say requirement number 1, you'll say, to identify all the stakeholders, we looked at the case, and these are the people that are affected, these are the stakeholders, and this is the impact that Roger's action may have on them. So that would be maybe the way you would introduce your answer, so that I know what you're referring to, but without repeating information that's already there. So that is the insider trading, which is, both of these cases are not going to have a specifically right answer, especially Roger's dilemma, where there is 2 competing you might say right decisions, or you might say 2 competing wrong decisions. Finding the least wrong or the most right is a matter of some opinion. So that's what you need to work on as a group. You have the discussion board to work that out. Now the second one has to do with impairment, that you should have learned about in intermediate accounting, about what that means, and the fact that there's spiders found on a property and what that has to do with impairment. Now this also has requirements, and they're numbered. This one is a little different in that the requirements we have 3, and then there's some more information. Now what you can't on this one, what you do not need to do, is consider the international standards, only the FASB codification. So any information having to do with international reporting standards you can ignore. Again, you should address each of the requirements except unless you can make a case that it does not apply. And again, you're doing this orally, so you need to make reference to what you're answering without repeating it, being clear. So that those are, and again, each of your group members needs to be on as part of the video and make part of the presentation. And ideally, there will be a transition between each presenter so that the next presenter is introduced by the past presenter. So that's what your assignment should look like. I have put some for the impairment group. I have given you some codification references. I've also provided you with the AICPA Code of Conduct, which is applicable to both cases because it does help us make decisions about ethical dilemmas. And the rubric that I will use for grading you on your ethics assignment. So if you have questions, please put them in your group, even though it is specific to the group. I will see all of the questions and can respond to them, and will respond to them as needed if they're directed to me or to the situation at hand, rather than specifically back and forth between the individuals in the group. However, if I see you getting too far off, and again, this is not a right answer, but your opinion could be different and still be correct. But if you're getting too far afield or unable to come to some kind of conclusion, I may jump in there in the discussion board and try to give you some guidance. But I can't do that without knowing where you are. So you want to use this discussion topic in order right from the get-go and make sure that you get some robust discussion as to how what the answer should be for these cases. It's tempting to just go off and do it on your own, each take a requirement or two, but it will be much better if you work together. So that is what we're going to do for these ethics cases.